up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fast and Tierious, where we explore the journeys of HubSpot solutions partners that are scaling in the ecosystem. Today, I am joined by Romeo Mann, head of delivery at The Man. It's Man Digital. I like to call it The Man Digital. Some claims to fame that they have.
Hi, guys.
The claims to fame is, and if you haven't seen them, they specialize in RevOps and thinking also about a ABM alignment strategy that is pretty brilliant in how they think about it and how they do it. And then also they are Platinum Tier inside the HubSpot ecosystem. Romeo, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks, man. Welcome, guys.
It's awesome to have the man here. So we start this is I like to start with guests is your story is very rarely is there a linear journey to starting a business or getting in the HubSpot ecosystem. What's your story? How did you first find HubSpot? And then once you found it, how did you decide, hey, I'm going to start a business inside the HubSpot ecosystem?
Yeah, so it was back in 2015, 16. So when they just started with Sidekick, I don't know if you remember Sidekick. It was,
before they renamed it Sales Extension.
Yeah. So I'm coming from the corporate world, right? So I started to work with a guy from US who was in info marketing. He had a digital publishing company. Actually, like you, he also was in the army. He just came back after 7 years of Iraq and Afghanistan, West Point graduate also. And he was doing this triathlon boot camps. So he was actually getting all these Ironman winners and doing different boot camps for triathletes wannabes. So we were doing boot camps in like Denver, in Barcelona, in different places. And HubSpot was the ecosystem that we were using for lifecycle marketing, basically. So we were doing a bunch of ads on Facebook to these lawyers and doctors and you name it. And we were just doing lead nurturing at the end of the day to push them into webinars and to push them into buying a ticket with us. It was a high ticket price. So I'm an old school guy in terms of direct marketing. I've started with direct marketing, and big fan of Peplaya, and I started with CXL and all these guys in more conversion rate optimization and Perry Marshall and so on. So HubSpot was one of the tools. Like I used them all. We used in Infusionsoft back then. Now Keep, Active Campaign, and so on. But in the end, we ended up in HubSpot. So the journey started there. So I evolved, let's say, in RevOps and in HubSpot as HubSpot evolved, right? So at the beginning, it was just it was blogs, landing pages, and email. That was all, right? Like you didn't have even the CRM. And then, it's just become so. We went bankrupt with the triathlon business after hitting 1 million in turnover because of cash flow issues. We were doing too many Facebook ads. And the ROI was not there. So we were a great team out of this triathlon business. And then we said, you know what, like we learned so much. So fuck it, let's just make an agency out of all our learnings. Yeah, we had designers, copywriters, developers, and marketing automation guys. So yeah, we started an agency and slowly get people into HubSpot, and that's how we developed.
I love that. You probably of the stories I've heard so far, that is it's the most linear, like adjacent. I was in HubSpot, and I love this term because I think this is happening more and more. And you see this also happen with agencies that were in the
Yeah.
HubSpot ecosystem, say in 2012, is they're evolving and now they're saying, hey, we're not marketing agencies, we are CRM or we are RevOps agencies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as
Hmm.
HubSpot has changed, so thus has their ecosystem. So it's cool to see, like you said, like, hey, I just evolved with HubSpot and I learned what they were as they were going. So it's cool to hear. Um, so when did you actually start? Was that 2016, 2017 when you actually
Yeah,
started Man Digital?
yeah, around 16 exactly.
Okay. So
Yeah, in February
the
2016.
initial business went bankrupt, which cash flow is the bane of any agency in general. So it's like of a
Yeah.
business getting that right. But you started Man Digital, and when did you become an official HubSpot part? When did you sign and say, okay, this is where we're going to be? I'm going to standardize. Was that day one?
No, no. I didn't know about this whole partnership even existed. So I think 2 years after.
So,
So we were just promoting HubSpot and doing HubSpot and being, experts in it. And then some Dutch guy called us from HubSpot, um, and told us about this partnership. It's like, okay, I didn't know about it. So you care about agencies in Poland? I thought you guys are only on US focused. So if you care about us, why not? Let's do it.
so, so so you didn't change anything. You just became a partner in 2018, uh,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's interesting. Okay, so you're walking through that, and you're 2018. Now it's 2024. I mean, this is 6 years later. And how
Yeah.
have you built your business and you've earned pedigree and I think you have some of the most compelling messaging. And I love your design work, like just a Man Digital. How have y'all grown in terms of how you structuring the team? And like how are you thinking about structure of the team? How you like what are the, I guess I'll say what are the challenges you had to overcome to get to where you are today?
Yeah,
You
we
say like
learned the
top
hard
three.
way. Yeah, we learned the hard way for sure. We were very confused at the beginning. Like, imagine that we came from the triathlon experience, and then we were like, okay, whatever business comes, we will take it. So initially, we were in the um, we were in the medical, mainly like a lot of these medical centers here in beauty, in women's beauty mainly.
Hmm.
So we had from hair treatments to skin treatments to all kind of uh, weird businesses. But then we looked around and we saw that, okay, so what are the businesses that are thriving in the region, right? And we saw that there were a lot of IT companies, like IT outsourcing companies. Yeah, they
Hmm.
like to call themselves software houses. Yeah, but essentially is augmented teams, right?
Hmm.
So these guys were working with SaaS companies, mainly in the US, that needed developers. As simple as that, right? And then we were like, okay, so these guys are smarter than, no offense to the beauty industry that we were in, like they are much smarter. And we were also in tourism and all kind of this B2C, and we're like, back then I was like, you know what, I want to learn from my clients. Like, I really want to learn, and I want to work with clients and partners much smarter than me, much smarter.
Hmm.
I don't want to explain what is PPC to a gynecologist anymore, right? Like, it's hard. so I was so I was like, okay, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
1 second. I'm getting a call and I don't know how to. Uh, I will do this. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yep. I still hear you.
Okay, 1 second. Let me change my Sorry, can you say something, because I cannot hear you anymore.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. We'll cut
So
this out. Don't worry about it.
yeah, no issues. My partner was calling me. I told her I have podcasts, but yeah, she insisted. So I was saying that I just wanted to learn from the IT ecosystem, and we dive deep into this. There were some clients that gave us trust in the B2B space, because selling 200 300K deals to another SaaS company in the US was a totally different game than selling triathlon or selling beauty treatments. So using HubSpot, right? And we were coming with the lead nurturing and ads mindset. So that's we were lucky with that, because we went deep into this IT world. So we went into the customer insights, and we really learned a lot of how these IT companies actually sell to SaaS companies. And then we started to get references from from these IT companies to their clients, to the SaaS companies itself, right? So then we really understood the whole enterprise sales, let's say, like the whole buying journey from our clients. So by digging into this aspect, and that's why now I think having this expertise of long sales cycles and subject matter expertise in IT and in the technical side, this helps us a lot. So I would say that learning from your clients is the best way to best thing that could happen to us, to be honest.
I pick out three things in this journey that I really like. And I think that where others can learn. Number one is the power of a channel. Is you saw something in your market where there were IT service providers or developer shops that were serving SaaS companies, and you used them as a, hey, we have a different service that's compatible that we would like to go with, and you got references from them. That's number one. Number two is you're still agnostic. You picked the entire genre. SaaS is large. There's fintech, like SaaS has a lot of different types of SaaS, whom they're selling it to. It's still a pretty large subscription model. There's still a lot there. But rather than saying, hey, we're just going to go into SaaS and we're going to understand this recurring revenue model, you did that. And then you're like, we'll learn from our clients, which will allow us then to specialize in something specific. And I think this is, and I maybe leading as we think about where you're going and the bets you're making. That's where I'm assuming, is that how you became and started thinking about ABM? Because ABM is an enterprise level, long sales cycle
Exactly.
to execute. So is that what, and then is that what led you to ABM and how you
yeah,
got expertise in that
and several mistakes in trying to copy what works in the US, mainly outreach, for example. We tried that, and in Europe is a different game, right? Because it's GDPR, it's a lot of we have a lot of examples from the US which we cannot use because the culture is different, right? Like even in the cold emails and in the approach that we are having. So we just took the examples and the knowledge, and we personalize it to the ecosystem here, right? And then we realized that, look, like the outreach and all this spray and pray approach, when we talk about subject matter expertise and when we talk about sales in like with high ticket deals, we just simply cannot do that with our clients. So an ABM approach where you go into insights, subject matter expertise, where you go into peer-to-peer communication, where you go into having that thought leadership type of a approach, and that's the only way we can survive with this market. And remember that when we started, the demand for devs, so for developers, was very high. So these companies, they were living out of inbound, so organic, right? So SEO and organic. Now things started to be bad post COVID, right? When the whole, you know, tech scene changed, the big layoffs and so on and so forth. So who were the first companies to you know, cut from your payroll? Was the IT outsourcing, right? Was not your employees. So these companies were cut big time. And we had a lot of clients in this space. So then we realized, then they started to come to us because they said, okay, so we cannot make leads anymore from SEO and PPC. PPC got more expensive. So now we need something smarter. So we actually started growing when they had problems, and they started to the demand was lower, right? Like that's when we started. Okay, so now you need RevOps, now you need ABM.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
this. It's odd. It's this entire shift. I would even say bigger picture. There's an entire shift in the market where all these things were happening, kind of this confluence that COVID unlocked or fit, like changed. Which one of them is SaaS companies had to create sustainable growth. PPC is often not sustainable growth. You can't just pay and play. You have to like think bigger and larger. And so
Mm-hmm.
ABM, like this smart, like there's just a fundamental shift that occurred um, that that the people positioned right could take advantage of, like we're thinking about that way.
Yeah, and we can see a lot of a lot of these companies changed, right? Because, you know, there was this luxury of high demand, and you could get away with inbound and with just with inbound, and just creating blog posts and ranking on Google, and with outreach, right? And this changed drastically. So I'm really proud to see sometimes some of my clients doing really good social selling and really good LinkedIn content, and see them, you know, put in action the things that we also preached. So that's a cool feeling.
Romeo, as we get to the end, what is your next big bet for the future? If you're planning 3 years ahead, even 1 year, just even in 1 year, what's the bet you're making this year, saying this is the way we're going to grow?
For sure, we are on the subject matter expertise. So I really believe that um, being expert in a particular niche and segment is crucial. Because let's be honest, like, you can learn HubSpot in a year. You know everything. Like, if you go to some boot camps, you are creating great content. The Rev Partners guys, the HubSpot guys. So learning the tool and being in this ecosystem, you can be pretty fast and expert. There is so much content out there, but subject matter expertise into the actual buying journey of particular businesses and segments, that's hard, right? Like, and how
Yes.
you sell to how you sell developers, let's say, to insure tech, right? Like, how you do that? How do you sell to Allianz? How do you sell to Aviva? How do you sell to all these big insurance companies your tech solutions? Now, that's I think something that you need years of experience to really understand the customers, the buying journey, and then configure ABM and HubSpot based on that subject matter expertise. I think that's critical, right?
hmm I can't. I agree so much. I feel gushing that I want to say. I mean, the way I think the product I'm building is all about that. Um, I'd say we're aligned. If I had one thing to it, it is um, there's been a democratization of admin talent, even through AI, right? So it's like HubSpot's pretty easy to learn. The more, but even AI is like reached the level. The value exists in the experience and a niche that you can
Yeah.
apply very quickly and like in a very short term. Like doing HubSpot work is not sufficient. You have to have HubSpot work plus experience.
Yeah, I mean, take a super like what you guys build, right? Like it is there, but how you will use it, right? Like you guys did the tech part out of it, and it's amazing, but the use cases is what actually matters, right? Like you do a package on, let's say, social selling, right? Great, that's a use case, but how will you use that? How you connect that with Served, with HubSpot, so I'm talking here about workflows. What are those workflows for that particular niche, for that sector, for that buying persona in this particular time, right? In the buying journey, like what you will do. And I think this is the challenge, because, the rest, programming Python, okay, you have some trainings, you go on AI, I can learn coding pretty fast. It's not a biggie, but the subject matter expertise, it's a big one.
The truth: create your intellectual property, create your method, execute.
Right.
Romeo, how will people? Thank you for the time today. If
Sure.
people want to talk to you after today, how will they get in touch with you? What's the best way?
So for sure, LinkedIn, and we also have a podcast where we are actually trying to dissect this RevOps and ABM alignment. So we really went niche, not even RevOps only, but RevOps and ABM.
I love it. I love what you're doing, and I'll say another again. I'm a half boy fanboy of what Romeo is doing in terms of design, how they talk about ABM, how they talk about RevOps. Keep up the good work. I have no doubt y'all continue to be awesome. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Kim. Bye bye.
Adios, everybody.
Ciao.